Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Thtman.x, and as you see, I'm back with another reaction video. And today, we are reacting to 1X Mafia boss versus 20 cops. I don't know, like, if you asking me, I feel like this is pretty incriminating. Incriminating, that's the word, right? Incriminating. Can he not get arrested for what he did? Or nah? Are these current cops? I don't know. I don't know at all. I don't know if he might get locked up after this, or I don't know if this is a way for him to, like, you know what I'm saying, be cool with the cops, I guess. I don't know. But we finna get into it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's see what Michael for. I'm not even gonna mess up your name. You got it.
Most law enforcement officers are actually afraid to go hands-on. They're afraid to deal with people like you. It's not a game.
They're not afraid to deal with us.
Absolutely. No, a lot of people are.
Why? Afraid to us? We are an officer's dream.
Is there corruption? Yes. Is there self-serving people who want to promote? Yes.
That's all I'm
But
saying.
for you to say, no, well, that's not what you're saying.
Yes,
What-
it is.
No, it's not.
What am I saying?
Where's the BS button?
You guys violated your oath or you
We're
wouldn't be here.
criminals.
Right.
We were criminals.
You got-
can't compare
but
us to the. If you compare us to the FBI, we're in a lot of trouble.
I'm not comparing.
Hi, I'm Michael Francis. I'm a former cop regime in the Colombo family in New York, one of the 5 New York Mafia families. And today I'm surrounded by 20 cops.
Did Mafia people approve of this or no? You think so? I'm gonna stop eating my cookie. That's not respectful of y'all.
All right, my first surrounded claim is undercover sting operations often manufacture crime.
Little lady got her quick. She ready.
How do you do?
So, you believe that undercover operations create crime.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the word entrapment. So, entrapment means that law enforcement officers are inducing a reasonable person who is not predisposed to a crime to commit a
Okay.
crime.
Well, what do you mean a reasonable person? Not, no, in my experience, the undercover operations were either an undercover law enforcement person or somebody, a confidential informant that was put into that situation. That's not a fine, upstanding person normally. The undercover agent, absolutely.
Okay.
But not that other person.
So, I've worked undercover. I've worked undercover in multiple situations.
You're a fine, upstanding person.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And looking at it from that perspective, if I was doing a prostitution sting, walking the streets,
Right.
then people weren't predisposed to committing crime, they could keep driving or keep walking right by me.
Correct.
So
Okay.
the fact that I and my law enforcement agency created an arena for someone to make a decision does not mean that I manufactured crime for them. I did not.
So what she's saying is that the police department, they was just that bored that they went out their way just to see who they could arrest. And it was like, hey, dress up as a prostitute, go on the street, have your butt out, and get who you could get. I thought these undercover operations was just to get specific people. I didn't know they just go look for people. They just be out here just trying to find people. They be trying to get their checks.
Force them to commit crime
GGs.
and make that final decision.
I agree with that, and I believe that undercover sting operations are necessary.
Okay.
You know, to catch people that you suspect of being criminals. However, there are situations that I'm very familiar with where they will use another criminal, okay, to go into that, become a confidential informant, and he will help to manufacture a crime by getting people to say things that they wouldn't have ordinarily said,
Right.
put them in a situation, bring them a criminal activity of some point and put them into it.
Right.
So yeah, because they don't know what this other person is doing. I give you an example. Michael Francis, we know he's an organized crime guy. We got our informants told us that, but we haven't been able to catch him in a crime. So let's send somebody in there and see if they can create something to put him involved in. And then
Right.
we have our crime. That's done.
It is,
Yeah.
but sending someone in like a confidential informant, there's also a lot of controls that are on the law enforcement side. So whether that person is wired or there's an infiltration of a law enforcement officer on, as part of the act, they're still not causing crime to be manufactured.
Have any undercover people ever got caught? And if so, what did they do to them? Imagine you like I said, a mob boss, and you got caught being an informant. What's the punishment? Do they chop your balls off and feed it to you or something? Like, what they do? I know the mafia be crazy, or is that like the the other country mafias? I don't know.
It's all being done rightfully by the suspect.
I can't agree with that. I cannot. When you wire up a confidential informant, and that informant brings criminal activity to that other person because that's the person that's the subject of the sting operation, that's entrapment as far as I'm concerned, because that wouldn't have happened if your confidential informant didn't go in and manufacture that crime. They're bringing him the crime. They're creating. He's part of that.
I see what he's saying.
activity.
Understood.
And
But
once
if you didn't want to commit that crime, you wouldn't have to. You could walk away. You could be like, you know what? I don't want to do this robbery
That's
tonight.
true.
I don't want to put a, amount of money on someone's head. I can just walk away.
Absolutely, and if you do, you're not entrapped. But if you do it, then you are entrapped. And that's what the confidential informant is supposed to do, entrap you.
I understand what you're saying, but you just made my argument. So if you could walk away from that,
You
and if
could,
you walk away from that, it's not entrapment. You're not getting involved in the criminal activity.
That's
where
correct.
if you stay involved in it, you were predisposed to move forward with that crime regardless.
Right.
So it's not entrapment either.
Well, I disagree with that. I think
I see
it would
both
never
sides,
happen if you
but
didn't put
I'm leaning more
law
towards the cop on this one, though. I know what they're trying to say.
CI in there to try to entrap that guy, then there would have been no crime.
But if the person they were trying to entrap, let's say it's you, if you were going in with a clean conscience, not wanting to commit crime at all, then it wouldn't matter who they put in there.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you're still creating the crime. Law enforcement is creating the crime through their confidential informant. Because it would have never happened if that confidential informant, if he never met him, then there would be no crime.
So the confidential informant comes in saying, I want to do X, Y, Z crime, you can still walk away.
You can, and then there's no entrapment. But there wouldn't have been anything at all if your guy didn't come in. He wouldn't have had to refuse anything because there wouldn't have been
So
anything
you're
to
saying
refuse.
you would never have committed a crime no matter what it was if there wasn't a confidential informant that came in?
I'm not saying, no, but here's what I'm saying. Then get him for that crime. Then the government didn't push that, the government didn't create it, the government didn't manufacture it, he did it on his own. You have every right to get him at that point.
The government provided an opportunity, and the
Yeah.
person can decide whether or not to take that opportunity.
That's correct. That's correct. But let me ask you a question. Here's
Sure.
somebody here, he's broke, he's got no money. No money at all. Never committed a crime in his life. Innocent guy, okay, can't put food on his table. You don't like that guy.
Right.
You know what? I don't like him. I don't know what to do. He's not a criminal, but I'm going to send somebody in there and give him some incentive. I'm going to send somebody in there to talk to this guy to tell him, listen, I have this jewelry store that we can rob. Don't worry about it. Inside job. Nobody's going to know anything. Okay, but come with me. We'll do it. Now you can put food on the table.
Right.
So you created a crime. You manufactured a crime for a guy that never was in trouble in his life.
He may never have been in trouble in his life, but if he wasn't already thinking that he could get away with that crrim or commit that crime,
He wouldn't have done
he
it.
would say no.
You can't lock somebody up for what they think. I may think of committing. I may want to rob Brink's truck, but I'm not going to do it.
Of course.
So you can't get mad at me. For
I
what
feel like
I'm
the
thinking.
But
the
if he
police
doesn't move
won this
forward
one.
with robbing that jewelry store,
But
then there's no
You're not
crime.
understanding. You didn't understand what I said. You didn't like that guy. He wasn't a criminal. You just didn't like him.
Yeah.
But I can't do anything about it. But I'm law enforcement. I have a tool. I have a weapon. I have a CI. I'm going to send him in there. I'm going to bait this guy into committing a crime.
I love that you think there's enough time and staff to be able to screw people over.
In the world of organized crime, okay, they got all the money, all the resources. Let me tell you something. During my time in organized crime, we had 750 made guys that comprised all 5 families. We had 1,400 agents, 2 agents to every 1 guy. They had plenty of time. That's what they get paid for. They have plenty of time, and they put a lot of effort into it, and they put a lot of guys. They destroyed my former life. They have all the time in the world when they want to. I'm not saying you do or anybody else in this room. I'm telling you my experience. And let me tell you something. I had a lot more respect at that time for police. They were doing their job. I understand that. People
Right.
say to me, Michael, now, you got to hate the police. I said, no, I don't hate the police. I have a wife, I have 5 daughters, I have grandkids. When they walk down the street, I want the police to protect them.
Right.
I support the police, but I don't support the underhanded stuff that was done and that continues to be done. I'm sorry. I think the defund the police movement is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I never heard of
I'm totally
it.
against that. But I'm totally against law enforcement using tactics and weapons to get people that they shouldn't be doing. They have to play by the rules, period. Or we have anarchy.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Right. And they do play by the rules.
No, they don't.
Because providing a criminal opportunity does not force someone to commit a crime. And if that person is getting lured into the crime because they don't have enough mental fortitude to say no to something, that's not law enforcement's fault.
You can't lock somebody up for their mentality.
But then if they move
They
forward
have to
with
commit
it,
the crime.
if the confidential informant gets them to move forward and commit the crime,
Well, did they manufacture that crime then? Yes or no?
absolutely not.
There was no crime until law enforcement put the guy there
And
make
to
it.
commit
And
the
person they
crime.
wanted to arrest could have said no.
I understand, but there would have been nothing to say no to
If
the
they
government
did,
didn't-
okay, I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to get what he's saying. At first, I was leaning towards the cop, what they were saying, because, like, rightfully so, everybody has their free will. Like, they're technically not forcing you to do it. But it's like putting something in your face and dangling it until you grab the bait, until you eventually grab it. And then once you grab it, I got you. You know what I'm saying? I see what he's saying. But, like, there would never been an opportunity to do anything if they never if they never put the bait in front of them. Okay, I get it. Okay.
put that.
He's trying to say, like, they're not playing by the rules. Like, you're baiting somebody to commit the crime, and then once they do it, now they're in trouble. But they probably would have never ever done it if you ain't bait them. Okay.
Crime in front of them, so they
Right.
manufactured it. There was no crime before that.
I get what he's saying. Hey, who y'all feel like won that?
I got it. How are you?
Oh hell no! I would not want to get locked up by nobody that's like him. Oh, never mind. He look regular. I seen colored tattoos on his arm. Got nervous. I feel like
New York guys, we're adults, right? Making
might be one of
decisions.
those.
Now I'm gonna go out on a limb and say 99.999% of undercover stings aren't just us being like, John Doe, you want to show off shotgun? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not how it is.
I agree.
We already probably have dirt on you in some facet, right?
Oh, you think you do? Yeah.
Either way, sure, fair. All right, fair, fine. So we're gonna set up a 20-man team, audio, video, all this stuff, just for a random dude.
No.
Right. That's my point.
No. No. But what's the difference? Let's put out a name that everybody knows. Let's say it's John Gotti. We
Sure.
know that John Gotti is the boss of the Gambino family. We'd love to see him in jail.
Okay.
But we don't know what he's doing at this point. So we have to figure it out. So let's get
Sure.
a confidential informant, okay, wire him up or do whatever it is that you do, and put him with John Gotti and try to bait John Gotti into doing something, whatever it might be, so that we can get something on him.
Right.
Tell me you're not manufacturing that. No.
He's still in the
tell
crime
me-
family. He's still running the mob. Like, it doesn't matter.
Being in the crime family
So just-
is not a crime.
So, sure.
Is-
Yes,
is
I
correct?
understand that. No, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah, but
so-
if you still put a CI in the room with him, he's like, "Hey, boss, you want to commit murder today?" He's gonna be like, "Actually, no, we're gonna pass on that." Like,
Okay.
no, he's still gonna do the crimes he's doing. Now we just have an inside
But-
guy
but you
to
don't- but
wire
you-
that up.
But you don't know that. You don't know
That's
that.
the point of the undercover sting. It's part of it.
Exactly, but you're manufacturing that particular crime. You are
He
creating
could say
that
if he's
crime.
the so
Doesn't
no
matter.
one's gonna tell the boss of the Gotti crime the crime family to say what he's gonna do.
You're not understanding. There still was no crime. You're creating a particular crime by bringing that confidential informant into
Right.
him and giving him a situation, a criminal situation that you're hoping he bites into. If there was no
Right.
confidential informant, there's no crime. So you manufactured that
He's not making him
situation.
do anything. he can easily be like, "We're not doing that today."
He can.
Right.
He can say no, but I'm going to say the same thing that I said to that young lady. He wouldn't have to say no if you didn't manufacture something for him to say no
You also have
to.
to say yes. This is a
But
circle.
it doesn't matter. No, because
For
we
sure.
said the question is, do confidential informants manufacture crimes? The answer is yes. You're just agreeing with me because yes, he's bringing a criminal situation to John Gotti that didn't exist before.
I can see both sides in
Another
this
criminal
argument.
Came to me and said, Michael, let's do this crime together, and I did it. Okay, I did it. But if
Yeah.
the government sent that guy,
Hold up. Sorry for the interruption, but I'm looking at this mustache. If I get pulled over by any cop with this particular type of facial hair, with just a thick mustache, no facial hair anywhere else, you watch out for that guy, okay? you comply with everything he says. If he tell you hit a 360 blindfolded backflip, you better hit that 360 blindfolded backflip. Oh my gosh. He looked like man, you gotta watch out for him. Look at his shoes. Oh man. Oh nah. Yeah, you gotta watch out for him. Nah, yeah, you gotta watch out for him. Nah, yeah, you gotta watch out for him. Oh my goodness.
Crime together, and I did it. Okay, I did it.
Oh my goodness.
But if the government sent that guy in there, then the government is manufacturing
No, because
that crime.
you still have free will, and you could be like, no.
But the
It doesn't matter.
You're right, but there would
Right.
be no crime if the government didn't make that happen.
But
you're
still
bringing that crime to bear.
saying yes. And again, we would already have something on you, or think we have something on you.
Think
You're not
that-
sure,
no,
no, for sure.
no,
You're not a
think you
random
have
person.
something
Is
on
my
you.
point.
Doesn't matter if you're random or not. Everybody has the same rights.
Yeah.
If you're if you're alleged to be a criminal,
Right.
and you didn't commit a crime, you still have rights as an American citizen.
For sure.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what you think, doesn't matter, or what you suppose, doesn't matter. You could say, yeah, John Gotti's doing a million different things. We don't know what they are, but let's get somebody to do something so that we do know what it is. You're manufacturing that crime. It didn't exist before.
No. Oh, all right. Nice meeting you.
Fellow New Yorker, thank you.
Multiple ladies.
How are you?
Good.
I love that you brought up the Gambino family. One, because there was more to it than I guess was just discussed before, right? So we talk about Joey V. Joey's the one who took them down. He was pulled over and he was in possession of a large amount of cocaine, right? So that's how he was located. And then I think the word that you're using, manufacturing, I kind of understand where you're coming from. You're saying that we're being a part of something that is criminal, so therefore we're helping to manufacture it. When in
Right.
reality, what it is we're going in there. And so we talk about one of the captains of the Gambino family who had a construction company, racketeering, fraud, all of those things, tax evasion, all the things. So when we're sending in
That's
an
a lot of
informant,
stuff.
we're looking for those things. We're not necessarily committing a crime also alongside the people who are already engaged in criminal activity.
You're not
Okay.
committing the crime, but you're manufacturing the crime.
But if we're finding evidence by utilizing an undercover detective or a corroborating witness, we're not engaging in criminal activity, we're locating criminal activity that's already in place.
Or by bringing that confidential informant in, you manufacturing it, as far as I'm concerned. Because it wasn't there before this particular informant brought it to the alleged
yeah,
defendant
okay.
or perpetrator, let's put it that way.
Okay, so let's use your example.
Okay.
I pull somebody over, and we're gonna go into narcotics. We're not even gonna necessarily talk about organized crime in a mafia family, but I pull over somebody and I pull them over, and they're like, man, I can't go to jail again. I can't go to jail. And we know that they're a lower level, holder or maybe even a seller, and we want the big person. There's already a relationship there where criminal activity is already occurring. Otherwise, we're not getting someone in the door, right? So if I pulled somebody over from your family or your ex-family, and
I was a Colombo guy, by the way, but I was very familiar with the Gambino.
No, I know. I'm pretty familiar with the Gambino family. I'm a Jersey girl, by the way.
Oh, okay.
But
I could tell.
so,
Straightforward.
hell yeah. So what I'm saying is if I'm building a corroborating witness or a confidential informant, and I utilize that person into an investigation, there's already a relationship there based on the criminal activity that's happened. There's already things that they're bringing to the table to make sure that I understand their why as whether or not I can even use them, right? Reliable or not, nobody's reliable fully, so I need other things to show me that I'm gonna be able to have the evidence to move forward. So I'm not always asking somebody to commit a crime with somebody in order to be a part of a manufacturing or whatever crime. I'm looking for the evidence, whether it's going in there and it's looking at your books, or sitting in on a dinner where there's conversations being had that
Okay.
can corroborate the information that we believe we already have. It's not going to be like, hey, I know, and you used Gotti as the example. So I know that Gotti's the boss. I'm not going to just manufacture something. I'm gonna start doing surveillance.
This stuff's very
watch criminal
complex.
activity take place. I'm going to
Well, so
utilize
yeah.
that to build probable cause.
Yeah, you're bringing together the totality of.
I remember that word
the
probable
tools
cause. I
you
learned that in
have,
school.
the weapons that you have to investigate this crime.
Correct.
Nothing wrong with that. I get it. I mean,
But that's what a CI or an undercover is going to help me do as well.
Yes.
It's after those things that I just talked to you about are starting to form, or at least that's how an investigation goes in Jersey that I've been a part of. We're
Right.
utilizing all those things to come together and then use that CI to go in and witness criminal activity that's already taking place in a criminal environment. It's
Right.
not something we're already manufacturing.
Let me give you an example. I was a subject of an undercover operation. It was me and Don King.
Okay.
The government was trying to allege and prove that organized crime was involved in professional boxing. So they had an undercover informant and an FBI agent that went on, undercover, and they were with me for 8 or 9 months. Now, I was not involved in this organized crime being involved in professional boxing.
Right.
I was a target. They believed that they can get to me to try to prove their case. It never happened. I was never involved in it. But for 8 months, they tried to get me involved in criminal activity and infiltrate me and Don King. They tried to get me to get Don King to take a bribe and all this kind of stuff. We didn't go for it.
Who is Don King, chat?
If they would have got me to go along with it, they manufactured it.
They were trying to look to get you to fit the crime that they wanted because
Correct.
they couldn't get you somewhere else.
Correct.
I can understand where your point is coming from. You're saying that we're manufacturing the crime by bringing you in and building that relationship. But again, to go back, you still say yes or no to it. We're giving you the opportunity to say yes or no. And you're saying you said no.
Yeah, but I would have had nothing to say no to if the government didn't
Then
try to
put it
trap
on
me
them.
into it. They actually tried to lay a trap for me to get involved.
And they didn't. So you're saying the criminal justice system worked for you.
I guess.
Because that's what it is, right? It's a justice system for
You
criminals.
could say I got lucky, I got whatever. I didn't bite, but I almost did. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not that brilliant. I almost did, but I didn't. But I would have had nothing to say no to if they didn't manufacture the crime. If you understand my point.
I do.
Okay.
I don't agree, but I
Oh,
understand.
it's okay. You understand. Thank you.
Hey, who y'all feel like won that debate? Who y'all feel like won that specific part? In that specific department, I can see both sides. Because once again, the police, they obviously have to build a probable cause. They have to build suspicion on this guy. Hey, I feel like this guy is doing something that we might have to get him for. So they probably built up enough, evidence to where they feel like we could probably get this guy to see what he's about. And then that's when they send the informant to try to get him and try, get that back door wide open. But from his point, I see what he's talking about. There will never be nothing if y'all didn't put the bait in front of their face to catch the person anyway. I can see both sides. But in the comments, y'all, tell me who y'all feel like won this first part of the debate. Let's get to the second part, man. I'm leaning. I'm in the middle. I see both sides.
My next surrounding claim is that law enforcement believes it's okay to violate the law in order to arrest the lawbreakers.
I can see that. I can agree.
Nice to meet you.
I want to start with a question. How many cases as a law enforcement officer have you worked?
Have I worked as a law enforcement?
Yes.
None.
Okay. My point is, you don't know the ins and outs from our perspective of how much work, time away from our family, effort to get a good case that's going to stick. You think we want to mess all that work up by breaking the law? I mean, you would understand that would seem very foolish, right?
No, not. If your name is John Gotti, Sonny Francis, Michael Francis, Fat Tony Salerno, Joe Colombo, no, I don't think that's unreasonable that law enforcement would break the law in order to catch.
Hold up. Dang, can the bald head dude ain't even get a chance to talk? Why they raising the flags already? He just got there. Give him at least a minute. Y'all got him out trying to get him out in the first 20 seconds.
Somebody that they think is a name like that, I've seen it happen.
And in what ways have you seen it happen?
By suborning perjury, by holding back exculpatory material at a trial, by FBI agents coercing people into testifying, coercing people into going undercover against people. I've seen that my whole life.
And listen, I mean, we can't speak on definites, right? Like I've always taught my kids, any sentence that you start with, like everyone, all, nobody, never, the next thing you say is going to be a lie. Okay? So are there cops that have broken the law, jeopardizing cases that they have worked very, very hard for? Of course.
Thank you.
But
you just made my point.
no, I know, but it's not definite, right? And I would say the vast
You just made my
majority,
point, though.
the vast majority of police officers, they're not doing that because
totally
of
agree with you.
the amount of work. But of course, we
I
can agree
agree
that
with
it
that.
does happen. There's too many people, too many variables for it to say it never happens. I don't think that's
Right.
the claim. The claim makes it seem more like it happens more than it does not happen. And that's just absolutely wrong.
I think it depends upon who the targets are. Certain law enforcement people build their careers on the names of people that they go after.
Right.
Certainly with John Gotti, certainly with my dad, Sonny Francis, with me to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You have to admit that big names give people in law enforcement an incentive to work a little bit harder to bring them down because you get rewarded for that.
Because what comes with those big names?
A reward if you convict
Many
them.
victims, right?
A reward if you convict them, yes or no?
A reward
Yes
if you
or no?
convict them, a reward for a job well done for anybody. But
Okay,
big
okay,
names
good.
equal many victims. I think that's the point that we're missing here. Because a local street dealer, may affect 20, 30, 50, 100 lives, right? But John Gotti's affecting hundreds. Would John Gotti affect the same amount of people and same amount of victims as the lower level guy in the family? Probably not, right? Like,
No,
there's a
no,
reason
no.
why John Gotti became the boss, right?
Let me tell you something. Most of the time, the informants that are going against the big guys, they're the ones that are doing most of the crime.
I believe it.
I think this sticks to the point at hand. To say that no police officer has ever broken the law, jeopardizing their case, that would be foolish. I would never say that, right? Because again, there's too many variables. But the way that the claim states makes it seem almost like it's common practice. It's just not true.
Let me make it clear right now. I hope to believe that most law enforcement people are on the level. I have many friends in law enforcement now. The guy that was trying to put me away forever on that undercover sting operation became one of my best friends. Now,
Ain't for
he's back
real?
in New York. Joe Spinelli was the head of the FBI. Good guy.
There's a mutual respect there. that
Mutual
develops.
respect, yes. He came after me, did it the right way. Listen, we told people all the time, FBI agents, you come and get me. Just don't frame me
Right.
and don't harass my family. That's it, because we're not going to do that to you, don't do it to us. So I want to believe that most people in law enforcement are straight up and they do their job, yes. But come on, you said it, you know it. There's many times, depending upon who that person is, that they will violate the law or they will stretch because it puts, a feather in their cap, they get promoted, whatever. And I know so many people, they convict this guy, they become a federal judge the next day. Come on, it happens. Not all the time, but absolutely it does.
Spent 10 minutes on the thing that, hey, he did pretty solid. Oh my gosh.
Oh, don't worry.
Look like name is Bill.
Well, you've told us a little bit about yourself. I'll tell you a little bit about me.
Okay.
I spent 23 years
Thomas.
as an FBI agent, all in Los Angeles. So I have no personal experience of working in New York as an agent, and I never worked organized crime.
You know Scott Garriola?
Yeah, very well.
Good friend.
Yeah, very good. I was married to a cop for many years, LAPD. I've known hundreds of police officers and worked with hundreds and agents. And your general statement is that law enforcement believes, it's a pretty broad statement, that it's okay to break the law to get the lawbreaker. And I disagree with that. You're describing an FBI that I don't recognize. Well, I'm not going to argue with your experience, but in the Bureau.
Have you been paying attention to the FBI today?
I have been.
Okay. Will you agree that they've been breaking the law?
No.
You won't agree to that? Today's,
I'm
well, not
gonna-
today.
I'm gonna- I'm-
The FBI of the last administration has not been breaking the law, doing things that they shouldn't be doing.
No, I disagree with you vehemently on that.
The Biden administration FBI, you say, has been totally above board. Comey is
He got some cops agreeing with him. Hey, do I need to start paying attention to the law enforcement? I don't know, cause the way he just said, I seen a couple of faces like changing. Hit one of these. I don't know, man. Is the FBI doing some crooked stuff? I don't know.
above board.
I am not going to go into some broad political
I'm not being
discussion.
broad, I'm being factual. You believe that James Comey has not broken the law, you think he's been an honest and upright and law-abiding
Hold up, y'all. Give me 2 seconds. And I'm back. All right, hold up. Get to it.
FBI agent.
I think James Comey was a good director of the FBI while he was the director. I think he operated with integrity and honor.
We disagree.
And
You don't
was
agree?
widely respected while he was director. Do I think he may have made some mistakes of judgment along the way? Yes, I could say
Why
that
did he
about a
allow,
lot of
why did
bosses.
he allow Hillary Clinton to smash her. No, excuse me. I would have went to jail for that, and so would everybody in this room. Why would he allow Hillary Clinton to smash all of her computers and everything that she had information on, and not indict her for obstruction of justice?
Wow.
My understanding of that case is that she was not indicted because they could not prove a criminal intent. Now, earlier today,
She admitted that they whitewashed her computers and everything else, all the information that she had in there.
I haven't heard. Oh, what evidence is he talking about? What am I lost? What evidence is he talking about? Damn, I never heard of this. Am I too young?
She did it.
your argument earlier is that law enforcement will break the law to break lawbreakers, to catch lawbreakers. That's not my experience. My experience of the FBI is for every investigation.
Then they're trying to get him out of there.
To get approval at every step of the way. Let's take a trash cover. For the audience, a trash cover is when law enforcement picks up the trash that somebody puts out on the street. I don't need a search warrant for that. But the FBI requires that I get approval from my supervisor in writing and articulate why I'm going to conduct this operation, what's the purpose of it, and then I have to document the results.
Are you familiar with an FBI agent named Lynn DeVecchio?
No.
Okay. He was indicted for murder, four murders, because he worked with
I think more of your guys than my guys have been indicted for murder.
Oh, absolutely, because we were criminals, but the FBI is supposed to be upstanding citizens that took an oath to protect people. But we were criminals. I'll admit to that. We didn't take an oath to abide by the law at all, but FBI agents do. And I'm not saying, I want to make it clear, I'm not saying this, I'm not throwing a blanket over everybody.
Of course you are.
No, I'm not. There are a lot of good,
You just make a broad
agents.
statement that the FBI committed crimes during the Biden administration. They Comey committed crimes.
Hey, somebody get Philip. Philip's starting to get angry. I could see the fumes fuming out his head. I could see the anger coming out through his bald spot, man. Somebody get Philip.
He did. James Comey did. 100% he did. James Comey absolutely did. I don't throw a blanket over everybody. Absolutely not. But there were certain FBI agents that did not uphold the law.
I get that. Now let's wind this back.
That's all I needed to hear.
You have a certain view of the Comey years and that period. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to argue that with you. But I am here to tell you, as from my perspective, from my personal experience as an agent,
All right, Jonathan.
that we want to get the bad guy, yes, but we don't think it's okay to break the law and do bad things to do it. Now, can there be a problem? Absolutely. I know of cases where officers and agents, or to use an example of the FBI, we had a situation where someone in the lab was maybe shading his or her analysis to favor the prosecutor. Allow me to finish. I listened to you very patiently. So
Relax, Jonathan.
there is absolutely a risk that anyone in law enforcement could lose sight of their ethics and their values, and that is very much the responsibility of the agency and the leadership and the management to create the culture that says, no, to go to one of the points you made earlier, hey, you don't mind getting caught if you're caught when law enforcement plays by the rules.
Right.
What I'm trying to tell you is that as an agent, your friend Scott Garriola,
Great guy.
great guy. He played by the rules.
100%.
The agents that I have worked with played by the rules. Do we make mistakes? Yes.
Okay,
Are there mistakes of judgment? Allow me to finish. Yes.
I understand where you're going, but I have a very important question.
Go ahead.
Can you sit there and tell me that you have 100% belief that no agent will violate the law or do something unscrupulous to catch a lawbreaker?
That would be an absurd statement to make.
Why
There
is it
could be no
absurd? I'm
plan.
asking you a question. You're saying that in your experience, every agent that takes that oath abides by the oath 100%.
What I'm
No.
telling you
Yes or
is
no?
that the FBI, like any other organization, every law enforcement, your organization, you guys violated your oath or you
We're
wouldn't
criminals.
be here. Right.
You can't. We were criminals.
You
can't compare us to the. If you compare us to the
I'm
FBI,
not
we're in a
comparing.
lot of trouble.
I'm not comparing. What I'm talking about is human nature. Are there human beings that are imperfect? Of course they are. It's no great debating
That's
point
not
to
the
say,
question.
stop.
That's not
It's
the
no great
question.
debating point
That's
to
not the
say,
question.
oh, you guys, you had this guy who did this. Of course.
That's
Yeah, I
not
feel
the
like winning right
question.
now.
I asked you a simple question. Do you believe that every FBI agent in the Bureau does things 100% ethically all the time?
No.
And they will not stretch it in order to catch a perpetrator? Yes or no? Yes or no?
That is what the way that question is framed.
It's a yes or no.
It is. There's no way anybody could answer.
Why not?
Oh, I believe every agent is perfect.
Why
Nonsense.
not? I can tell you people in my organization that violated certain things. They did it, that they didn't do it.
Look,
and I'll tell you, if
What,
you ask me
what,
that
what
question,
I can
would say
speak
no.
to, what I can speak to
Okay.
is what I was taught in the academy. I can speak to the standards my supervisors held me to. I can speak to how my management behaved. I can speak to the
His
attitude.
veneers are low-key pissing me off. It's like they're too veneer-like. They should have got some more realistic veneers. Or is that just me? I feel like they're just like, they're there.
To the agents I worked with. In theory, I have known.
You've never heard of any agent that violated their ethical
Of course
standard?
I have. I
Okay.
work for one.
Well, that's it.
I had a supervisor who had an improper relationship with an informant, and it caused a lot of damage.
Okay.
So to say that is to say, wow, we have to hire human beings for this job.
It's
No
just,
kidding.
It's just what I said. There are
But
certain
the
agents that will
important thing for
violate
the
their ethics
public-
to catch the
The
lawbreaker.
thing that I want you to listen to, as I've listened to you, and I want the audience to hear, is that
Okay.
the organization that I work for, which
Right.
is made up of thousands of human beings who have all the flaws of every person.
Right.
But the organizational culture that I was raised in, that I served, put a premium on integrity and doing the right thing. Are there agents that
And I believe
are
you.
there
No,
agents? Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
agree.
all
I
right.
believe you.
Well,
And I
good.
think that you're sincere in that regard. But can I ask you a question? Why is it that everyone, all of America practically, has no trust in the FBI right now? No trust in our government agencies
Many
anymore?
people have
because
lied to Americans about the
Exactly.
FBI and about its actions
they've
and
watched-
have
they've
mischaracterized.
observed the FBI.
They have
They've
mischaracterized.
observed. There's a difference. Not people lying. They've observed the FBI. Let me tell you now. I like Cash Patel and Dan Bongino. I know him. Very ethical, good guy with integrity. I'm so happy that he's the deputy director of the
Shout out to
FBI
Dan.
because he has integrity. I can't say that for the last people. And all of America, a good portion of America believes the same thing because of their actions.
Actually, I think it's because they're being lied to
By who?
frequently by figures in the media.
By who?
Well, you're doing it
I'm
right
not
now.
lying. No, I'm not lying, sir. I'm telling you the truth based upon my experience.
What do you know about the Clinton case? You've recited a bunch of factually incorrect statements
They're not
already.
incorrect. Tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how I'm wrong.
How's she wrong, Jonathan?
You're representing that somehow the FBI knew that she'd obstructed justice.
Comey
If we
did.
could have proven criminal intent, an intent to violate the law, she would have been charged.
You're needing to tell me that.
It's the same reason why other people are
You need to
charged.
tell me in the Biden administration, they would have went after Hillary Clinton. Biden would have allowed the FBI, and Comey would have went after Hillary Clinton.
You haven't
believe
believed
that?
I know y'all seeing him in the back, bro. He's telling everything I need to know. Every time he speaks, it's like he's agreeing with him. I don't know nothing about law enforcement, and my dad told me if you don't know, don't act like you know. If you don't know, he said, if you don't know, you shut the F up and listen. So I'm just listening.
About
No,
the
I'm sorry.
FBI and the Department of Justice, that somehow the Biden administration was dictating to the FBI what to do. That's
Absolutely.
not the
There was
bureau that I
politics.
work
The
for.
Bureau became too political on a national level. I'm not on a local level, maybe not here in LA.
He's
I
agreeing
disagree
again.
with you. I believe that has been alleged repeatedly till it's an urban legend that people
No, you
believe.
can see it. The FBI has been politicized during the Biden
Where the hell did
administration. I
he
wish
spawn
they
from?
weren't. Comey was totally politicized. Absolutely. What they did to, look, let me tell you this. I'm not, Donald Trump, I think he's a good president, and I want him there because the last one would have been a disaster. America would have been, I don't know where we would have been right now, but I'll tell you right now, okay, there's no question that Comey was politicized to do what they did to that man.
To do what they did to which
Trump.
Trump?
Come on.
Well, I disagree with you.
Really?
I do.
Okay, pause.
Okay. You got it.
Back to your seat. We're actually.
Daniel blood is boiling. He wants to call him something that we should never hear. He does not like that guy. He does not like that guy. I don't think he likes that guy. That got intense. Who y'all feel like won that debate? Y'all giving it to the mafia boss, or y'all giving it to the cops? I'm giving it to the mafia boss. I was in the middle last time, so I mean the mafia boss up one. My personal opinion. In the comments, let me know who y'all feel like won that. 5 more minutes? Oh, what happened?
We're going to add 5 minutes. Not for you, Tom.
Oh.
Nice to meet you.
We have a black guy
So let me ask you this.
with the sky top.
What got him got?
What?
Ask you this. What got Gotti got? What got him got?
What got him got?
What got him got?
Well, you want to go to the main witness against Gotti? Who was Sammy Gravano.
What got him got?
Clarify.
The mouth.
Oh, the mouth. Oh, no doubt about
Right?
it. I absolutely agree
The
with
wire,
that.
right?
Yes.
Okay. So in order to get that wire, you know there's certain steps we have to go through.
Yes.
Right? A judge has to sign off on that. Right? So you have to have all this stuff in place before you even attempt to go in that house, before you attempt to climb up that pole, before you attempt to go and put a confidential informant in there. Most of that stuff has to be laid out. And a good judge is not going to sign any of that. He's going to look at that and say, what has this CI done?
And what does a bad judge do? He'll just sign it, right? Because
He may.
So you have good
He
and
may.
bad judges.
Right, but most of the time there's a big trail. There's smoke, there's fire, right? 90% of the time. So what got him in trouble was he couldn't shut up.
That's true.
Right?
I
And that's
agree.
what gets most of crime bosses in trouble.
Well, not the chin.
Okay. How do you go there?
Huh?
How do you go there?
Me?
Yeah. How'd you go there?
Never on a wiretap.
Never on the wire?
No.
Okay. So your mind's how did you go there?
How did I go
Can
down?
you say that?
I had
Can
an
you talk?
informant.
Okay. Well, was this?
Damn.
Did he face you in court?
One time he did, and I was acquitted. Yeah.
Okay. He testified?
Yeah.
All right. So how did you get acquitted? What did they say the informant didn't or didn't?
Well, he lied. That's
Okay,
my
but
point from before. He
so
lied.
your attorney got you off, right?
He didn't get me off. I was innocent. So he lied.
What did he
And I was
lie about?
innocent.
But what did he lie about?
He
Say,
lied
what did
about
he
me.
understand? So
He lied about the facts that they were trying to prove against me that were ridiculous, and the jury saw through it, and I got acquitted. And again, I'm not throwing a blanket over every person in law enforcement. But what I'm saying is, in certain situations, I believe law enforcement thinks it's okay to violate the law to catch a lawbreaker because, well, you know, we can't get him for what he didn't do, so let's try to manufacture something or get him something that we can pin on him.
So you say manufacture.
Damn, they got Kenneth out already. Oh yeah, we got a seasoned white guy,
to operate in law
Matthew.
enforcement without breaking any laws.
Huh?
Do you believe it's possible to operate in law enforcement without breaking any laws?
Yeah.
I would hope so.
I would hope so.
All right, so take this situation for example. Say we get an Amber Alert put across for a car that has a kidnapped young girl in it, correct? A police officer is going down the street, and he sees this car, correct? Is that breaking the law if you run through a red light?
Yes.
Okay, so the police officer should stop at the red light while that car drives off with the kidnapped girl.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so
Hey, listen, dude. The police was made for people that broke laws. I feel like you should follow the law. Of course, in that specific situation, I want you to go. Break that law. Damn, he cooked me. I can't got nothing to say. But he technically should wait for it. He technically should wait for it, though. But like in that specific instance, he shouldn't. He cooked me.
you're telling me that you would hope that law enforcement can operate without breaking any laws, but you're telling me now that he should break that law to go get that girl.
Law enforcement, I've seen law enforcement are you allowed to go through a red light as a law enforcement
Yes,
officer?
you are. If you cut your
Well,
lights
you're
on
not breaking
before you
the
go
law.
through a red light. Okay. So I
But
think
you're not
that
breaking the law.
it's still a law. In my opinion, I think
But
law
you're
enforcement.
not breaking the law because you're allowed to go through a red light, so you're not breaking the law.
Okay, so
He just
we're
spanked
setting
him.
laws.
I'm back.
I would hope
You're
that
being
you would
very
go
vague
through
with
that.
laws then, because you're saying laws in general, because that would still be a law, just like speeding is a law.
What I'm saying is that law enforcement, in most cases, now I'm going to tell you something. If my daughter in a car, and I don't care what law you broke, I don't care what you did to get to
Right,
her.
'cause it's
you know?
personal.
Obviously, it's personal. Okay, so I understand that, and I would hope that you would do that.
Correct.
Okay, but that's a different case. What I'm saying is, I believe that many in law enforcement, and again, it always depends upon the situation, think it's okay. This is a bad guy. We can't get him for what we did, so we can manufacture or bring something around him so that we can put him in jail.
Right,
And I think
for
law
that.
enforcement does that. I don't even know if in some cases, I disagree with it. If I knew that the guy was a serial killer, and I can't get the guy, and I had to do something to make him make a mistake so I can, I would definitely do it.
Right.
But I'm a criminal at times. I'm
Okay.
not anymore, but I was back then. Okay, I would definitely do it.
Right.
You're not supposed to do that,
Uh-huh.
but I wouldn't be mad if you did. Now, let me just ask you a question. Let's be totally honest.
Okay.
Do you believe that in some situations it's okay for law enforcement to break the law in order to go after lawbreakers?
Law enforcement should be able to break laws in a controlled environment to do things that other people can't. That's the whole reason we're there. Just like running the red light, just like catching somebody going 100 miles an hour over the speed limit. Because you were speaking specifically on just entrapment and set people up with stings and
But see,
things
my
like that.
point in that is that you're not breaking the law if you're legally allowed to do it.
Right.
Then you're not a lawbreaker. You're allowed to go past the red light. You're allowed to speed.
There's a
But
reason. Okay.
And I agree with that, by the way. You should be allowed to do that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. My
Nice
next
firm
surrounding
handshake.
claim is that law
Hey, who y'all feel won that? Who y'all feel? I give it to the Mafia boss. Hope.
enforcement often measures success by arrests and not by safer.
Law enforcement often measures success by arrests and not by safer streets. A black guy.
So I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm big on DWI, DRE. So most of the time I don't answer calls at all. My work is driven off of stats, arrest. So for you to make that kind of claim is very misleading and dangerous, because most of the time I'm putting my life at risk to stop impaired drivers, drunk drivers. So which means if I see somebody driving wrong way, I'm probably gonna put myself in harm's way to stop that driver so that somebody doesn't get hit or killed.
Right.
So I don't believe in your claim. Do you have any experience in that at all?
Well, again, my experience comes from a different place. Being in the world of organized crime, growing up in that, being a subject of several arrests and investigations, and watching others also. In that world, there's no question that people, not safer streets that they're concerned about. They're concerned about the arrest and
getting the big
and what
names.
it brings to them personally.
Right.
So would you say making arrests with your own organized crime is different from me making arrests from DWI?
Yeah.
So what makes that difference if we're still making arrests on bad guys? It's just different crimes.
Well, again, it goes back to the totality of the situation. You're not manufacturing a crime. You're not targeting. Let me tell you the difference with organized crime, okay? You just pointed it out. You go after the lawbreaker because you're watching them violate the law, drunken driver or whatever, right? Okay, so you go after the person that's committing the crime. But a crime has been committed. In organized crime, they go after the person and hope that they commit a crime, or wait for them to commit a crime because they think that they're a lawbreaker. You're not watching this guy for a few months, thinking he might be a drunk driver, and then waiting for him to get in the car drunk, right? You're
Right.
not doing that.
That's not what I'm doing.
No, he's drunk driving, and you're going after him.
That's
Correct?
right.
Because he's committing a crime at that moment.
Okay.
That's okay. That's what you're supposed
I
to
like
do.
this guy. He's pretty
It's a
smart. What's his name?
different
Michael? I like Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Another black guy. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yeah. I completely disagree with you. I think most people that go into law enforcement, federal, state, local, are good, decent, honorable
Jalen.
people.
We agree.
Who put
That's
their
a
life on the
light-skinned
line every single day for the American people in this country. I don't think that people are focused on stats, quotas, arrests, you name it. I hear that you keep mentioning this point about people getting promoted because of the amount of arrests that they make. I doubt that happens now in modern day law enforcement. When I first started on the streets, I was making $15 an hour. It didn't matter to me about how many arrests I made. It was about whether or not I made it home safe at night. So based on the premise that you just mentioned, I completely disagree with you 100%.
And I agree in part on what you said, that most people come into law enforcement to do the right thing. But what level of law enforcement are you involved in?
I was in county level law enforcement.
On the county level, meaning that who are the perpetrators of crimes that you usually go after?
Be anybody.
Could be anybody. Okay. You should be in a different world. You should be in a world where they're going after high-level people. You mean to tell me that high-level people being arrested, charged, convicted, big-name people don't mean anything to the people that arrest and convict them?
I've arrested big name people, but I think a lot of times I think the level that you're trying to speak at, you're trying to speak at a federal level, right? That's what I assume. You're saying like the high name cases, the big drug lords and those type of arrests. But these people didn't plant those guys to go make an arrest just based on their name. They had probable cause. They had a reason to go after these people. Even when you make those type of arrests, it doesn't automatically equate to a promotion or some type of accolade.
Not automatically, but in often cases it does.
Not automatically. I disagree with that as well. I think, again, my premise is that 90% of law enforcement officers across the board don't go into this profession to make arrests. They don't have the resources or the time to sit there and count how many arrests that they're making.
You know who John Gleason was, a federal prosecutor?
I'm not familiar with him.
He prosecuted John Gotti, got a conviction. What happened to him?
You love John Gotti, don't you?
No, everybody knows him, so you may as well talk about him. I can talk about a lot of guys, but he prosecuted John Gotti and convicted him. What happened to him after that?
I don't know, but let's get back to the premise.
Appointed a federal judge. Okay, right after that. You think he didn't know
Dang.
that? You think he wasn't promised that? You think that come on. You have to admit that when you get these high-level prosecutions and convictions, that it's a feather in your cap and you're looking for a promotion, and many times it happens.
I disagree.
I can see that though. That's like thinking the football aspect. I just caught 3 picks in a game, and I'm the backup. I'm the second string. Nigga, I want to be the starter. I feel him. Because that's how it was for me. I came at my first ever game in college. I was a third string. I got a pick in my very first game. I moved up. I moved from third to second. So, hey, I feel him though. Nigga, if I'm catching these top guys, you better up my rank. I feel him though. He might not be lying. I might be leaning towards the mob boss again.
I think most people.
Am I a criminal at mind chat or no? I'm not a criminal. I bet.
Are out there doing their job and putting their life.
I have a
on
criminal
line.
mindset.
Get people to even get into
because I'm come with the mob boss.
It is absolutely squeezed dry. People don't want to go into the career of law enforcement anymore. If they knew they were going to get a big promotion.
No, now you're right, because the way leadership treats law enforcement today, they should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, it's the criminals. It's people that were doing stuff you were doing that drains the resources of law enforcement. Absolutely, it is.
No, it's these woke leaders that don't give a damn about the police. And that's why the police are leaving, because they don't stand behind them. Because you arrest a criminal in New York, you've been arrested 18 times, and the next morning you're out on no bail. I get arrested for a money crime, and I'm in there with $1 million bail and a no bail at all. So that's why the cops are. I understand that. If I was who would want to be a cop right now? You're arresting criminals 20 times. You got people committing crimes 18 times and getting out on jail and going murdering somebody.
And that's exactly why.
It's not you.
Yeah.
It's not the cops. I don't blame the cops for not wanting to be there anymore, because these woke leadership are destroying our police departments.
Let's get back to the premise, because I actually agree with a lot of things that you said, but you actually proved my point that when police officers or law enforcement agents are making arrests, these people are doing it not for the accolades, not for the glory, because there's not much in it. Unless you're at the federal level and you got decades of experience in it, making a 6-figure check. So again, your premise saying that we
I want to see him talk
or trying to make arrests to get promotions.
That guy right here, he been all he been doing is been nodding his head and hitting one of these. He been like this. He been giving his very bold emotions, reactions. I meant he been doing a whole lot of. I'm trying to see him speak on something.
Your premise,
Hey, bro, you need to get your old ass.
you're
You
looking
know what I'm
for
saying?
athletes
Get
or
up.
Trying to make arrests to get promotions is completely false.
Get up, man.
It's wrong.
It's not false.
It is. It's
Not
absolutely
false. It's
false.
not
Most
false
of these
and-
local guys
it's
that are
not
working
false
these
and-
roads,
I
working
agree-
these
I
streets,
agree with
they
you.
have we each and every day we go out there, we put our life on the line. I didn't go out there for quotas or to make an amount of DWI arrests. In fact, most law enforcement officers are actually afraid to go hands-on. They're afraid to apprehend subjects. They're afraid to deal with people like you. It's not a game. This is not funny.
They're not afraid to deal with us.
Absolutely,
No,
a
they're not.
lot of people are.
Why?
A lot of
Afraid to
people
us?
are.
We are. Let me tell you something. We are an officer's dream. You arrest us, we put our hands out, we go to court, and that's it. Okay, that's it.
Look.
We're not running this. We're not running away from you.
I don't know what
You
you're
have to come
capable
after
of.
us. No. I'm
Look,
telling
look.
you, we are a law enforcement's dream. We don't fight back. We don't do anything. We go to court and we go to jail.
We don't
That's what
profile. We treat everybody
do.
the same as that way. We don't know what you're capable of.
No, you're wrong about that,
No,
bro.
I'm right about that.
No, you're wrong
I'm
about
right
that.
about that.
You're out here in LA you got to go back to New York or Chicago or places like that. You'll see a whole different atmosphere. And let me tell you something, I agree with you with the police. I agree, I am on the side of the police in that regard. But there are certain levels of law enforcement that go for the names and go for the promotion. There's no question
disagree.
about it. You can't disagree, it's happened.
Nah, I'm with the mob boss. I believe that there is some people that look for the achievements.
Thank you.
Seem like a good guy.
No way. Okay, nice to meet you.
I'm not going to talk about Hillary Clinton and John Gotti. So, unfortunately for us, I do think that your arrest record is a direct reflection of your work ethic. I think that you can take one guy on the street and you can say this guy made 100 arrests this year. And from an internal perspective, you say, man, that dude shows up, he busts his ass and works really hard.
Right.
That sounds terrible to the public, that I'm out there arresting X amount of people. I probably look ruthless and unforgiving or whatever you want to say. But if you take the same guy on my squad who's made 5 arrests this year, what do you think they say about that guy? He's lazy.
Yeah.
You know, he's sitting under a tree. If you drive past that guy in the public, you say, this is what my tax dollars are going for. So I feel like we can't win no matter what, but if not by the arrest record, you know, you could judge off other things, but I mean, what else would you, how else would they,
I think the difference is here because my experience is mostly on the federal level.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're dealing with organized crime, it's a whole different ballgame. It really is. It's a different kind of street crime. Okay, let me tell you something. During the golden years of the mob, from the late 40s right through the mid 80s, when the RICO Act went crazy and put everybody in jail, those were the golden years of the mob. New York Times, New York Post, Daily News, Long Island Press, Newsday, something about the mob.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day. Again, Gotti, Fat Tony, Joe Colombo, they were all bigger than life.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me that people don't go after these guys, okay, because they know it's a big feather in their cap? It's human nature, of course they do. I'm not saying it happens on every level. I'm certainly not saying it happens on law. I would hope that you make a lot of arrests for criminals out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's sickening to me when I look back and I see guys that were arrested 17, 18, 19 times and then come back out on the street and murder somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrific. I don't even understand. I can't even comprehend it. Okay?
Right.
That's a different kind of crime. But when you go on a bigger level, a federal level, and they go after these big politicians and they go after organized crime guys and guys with big names, of course they're going to get promotions, and of course that's in their head. So what does that cause them to do? In my world, it causes them to stretch. Mm-hmm. Hey, I got to get this guy. This means a lot to me.
So,
okay, it's only normal.
Do you not, you keep referencing like the big names and the cases and things that you went through, and respectfully, do you not see like, I don't know, more body cameras and there's cameras everywhere, standards have changed, methods have changed. Do you not think all these things have changed for the better? Not saying it's perfect. I see the videos and things like you are referencing. I still see it. I understand it'll never be perfect. But at the same time, do you still think those things are happening like the way that they used to, at the level that they used to?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah, I unfortunately, look, I think that a certain level of government was corrupt during my time. I can't even comprehend the level of corruption that I see now. Not at your level, not at police force, I'm not saying that at all, okay? I'm saying in the higher levels, FBI. It's shameful what the FBI has become, in my opinion. There were certain sectors of it that weren't good during my time, but what I see now.
I don't know what's currently going on and when it comes to the law enforcement, so I really have nothing to speak on. Oh man, my guy was getting ready to come up. I'm gonna call him Andrew. I'm gonna call this guy Andrew. He looks like a nice Andrew. I want to see him talk, man.
So you've introduced yourself. I'll introduce myself. So I have worked organized crime. I have investigated very, very big name people north of the border. Some are probably your allies, some probably your enemies or whatnot. I take offense when you say that organized crime enforcement officers like myself on a federal level get promotions, because you know what I got after investigating some very high level people, names that I'm not even going to share. I got a pat on the back, a destroyed relationship with my ex, hours upon hours of reviewing search warrants just to prepare for the case that bleeds into my personal time. I don't even have a personal life. I didn't have a personal life for 2 years. And
take that long?
Case. So when you say that, oh yeah, everyone gets promoted or everyone
Not
gets
everyone,
level,
no, I didn't say that. Not everyone.
Okay.
I said it gives incentive to those.
I never got an incentive. I did not know I was going to get promoted, nor did my team members. I didn't even know if I was going to get this guy to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
All I had was this idea of knowing that, you know what, if I get the drugs, I get the guns off the street, maybe 10, 15 kids get to live. I really didn't care if that, of course, everyone wants to get the bad guy, but sometimes that doesn't happen, and you even admitted it. Sometimes that doesn't happen. I'm not gonna destroy my career doing something illegal when I know I can get the drugs and the guns off the street and save 15 people.
Okay.
So when you say that people get promoted off this, not true at all. What they do get is years and years of therapy and having to rebuild their entire lives.
Not always.
That's why I left organized crime, because it destroyed my life. I no
Really?
longer do that because it absolutely destroyed my life. So
How did it destroy it?
I never got a promotion. I never got this massive incentive. All I got was another case to work on.
Well, in part, I agree with you. Joe Pistone, Donnie Brasco, after everything that he did, I think they gave him a $500 check afterwards, and then he left the FBI. Okay, but talk about a guy like Andrew Weissman. Andrew Weissman, prosecutor, federal prosecutor, who framed people, and I got absolute proof. I don't say this out of turn. Framed people, put people in jail innocently, suborned perjury, worked with an FBI agent that was involved in murder, covered up crimes that go so deep it would make your hair stand on end. And what does he get? He gets a promotion, a promotion, a promotion. And his final promotion was being the lead prosecutor in the Mueller investigation against Trump.
Darn.
He put so many people, he was overturned 9-0 by the Supreme Court in a case that he did. And he keeps getting promoted, promoted, and promoted. He gets all of these big deals, and he does. I mean, all I'm saying is it happens. It happens more than you might think. Unfortunately, it didn't happen for you. But there are a lot of prosecutors out there, especially in Department of Justice prosecutors, that go after the big names and they get promotions as a result. Even if they lose the case, at times they get promotions. But this guy, Andrew Weissman, do me a favor, look him up. Terrible guy. Put so many innocent people in jail. Destroyed their lives.
Right, but you're talking about a lawyer, okay? I believe the statement
was... he's a prosecutor.
Okay, I'm talking about cops.
I agree with you with cops.
As a cop, I'm not going to bend the rules. I'm not going to manufacture crime. I'm not going to put someone in a position where, as you mentioned, fabricate or manufacture crime. We don't fabricate crime, nor do we manufacture crime.
We had that argument already.
Right, but you brought it back. I'm talking from my level, from working in organized crime. There's a lot of checks and balances.
You mean to tell me that you're saying to me that nobody in law enforcement ever manufactured a crime by putting a confidential informant in front of somebody to create a crime that never existed?
Is you going to say that?
Manufacturing the crime.
Sorry, you voted out of the majority.
Okay, thank you.
Is that a dude? Come on. Bro, let him go, man. Let him go. Damn.
So with respect to your claim, you're talking about focusing more on arrest rather than safer streets, correct?
Many times, depending upon the situation, yes.
Of course. So with respect to the audience, for the most part, they don't care about the federal level. They care about walking around the streets on here. Mm-hmm. You said you had daughters, correct?
Yeah.
Would you feel safe if they walked around the streets here?
In LA now?
Yes, in LA.
No. No.
So then what to you is a safer street? Or how do you achieve a safer street?
Well, I think that
What is a safe street?
leadership has to give law enforcement the tools and the weapons that they need to keep the streets safe. I think that's their primary goal. All right? Keep the streets safe.
Right. And so with respect to that, though, to get safer streets, you have to eliminate the crime element.
The bad guy, yeah.
And the only way to do that really is to arrest people, because once you arrest
Yes.
them, and if the court system actually did their job, they'd be put in jail.
Yes.
So just like, if you actually took it to trial, you would have been away for a long time. That's how you achieve a safer street, to actually...
Wouldn't have been safe by putting me away for a long time. I'm sorry.
Says who?
I've been out for 30 some odd years now, and the streets have been pretty safe, so it's okay. But
I would actually push back on that. I actually think for at least temporarily, it was a little bit safer once you got arrested, because,
it wasn't safer. I mean, I was stealing tax money. That's all I was doing.
But going back to your argument, I think,
Let's talk about somebody else.
John Gotti. In order to achieve safer streets, you have to eliminate the criminal element. You have to arrest
I
criminals.
agree with that. All I'm saying is that there are times, depending upon the situation and who the subject is, the alleged perpetrator, that people will stretch because they know it's a feather in their cap and they'll get promotions, and I can document that. I can tell you where it's happened.
Right.
But I mean, if you do arrest, let's say, going to the Fed level, you arrest somebody who's a big name, of course they're going to get accolades for it. It's just like if a high-level executive, lands a big contract, they're going to get a bonus.
Okay,
I mean,
I see that.
I can give them more incentive to, not so much the crime they're committing, but the fact that it's that person committing the crime.
Then you feel like it's, obviously you mentioned, they're going to stretch things just to get that accolade. Then do you feel like humans in general are going to do whatever it takes to get that accolade?
Not most. I feel like there is some.
Level, they're not supposed to do that.
No, and I don't think they will, just because.
Well, they will. They've done it, and that's an unfortunate part of our law enforcement system. And I think, clarify. I think this is more on a prosecutorial level. It's more political at that point. We're not talking about a lot of the. Look, I don't know what it is. I mean, if you make 100 arrests or you make 30 arrests, what's the difference to you guys? I don't know that. Thank you.
He's not a good guy. Let my man go.
Michael, pleasure.
Mr. Veneers.
Okay, so
Call
a
Mr.
couple of
Clean.
things. It is
Marlon.
breaking the law, running a red light. But you're saying that it's okay for us to break the law. Did I get that right?
Well, let me get clear on this. If you have a suspect that has broken the law,
Let's go to John Gotti. Sorry to interrupt. I'm chasing John Gotti. I'm an FBI agent. I got like 3
Are you
or
an
4
FBI
of us.
agent?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, because you keep saying, so I want to get something very clear.
Sure.
Okay, let's get clear here. And words have meanings.
Okay.
You're saying at the federal level, hey, you know what? If you arrest John Gotti or some big name, you're going to get promoted.
Oh yeah, he means this. He means business.
But if you're
He's working with a pawn over there. He means business. If he stays 5 more minutes, the sweat stain might go from here. It might go from here to here. He means business. He been fuming over there. He been burning up. He couldn't wait. You gotta add some different type of deodorant, my guy.
arrest John Gotti or some big name, you're going to get promoted, right? You're going to cut corners. You're going to stretch whatever it is to do that. But hey, the DUI guy, no. So essentially what you're saying is that it's self-serving on my
I don't miss when my pitch used to be overly sweaty.
But is it self-serving on the DUI driver? Yes or no?
If you arrest the DUI driver?
Yeah. You're going to get promoted, right? You're going to cut corners. You're going to stretch whatever it is to do that. But hey, the DUI guy, no. So essentially what you're saying is that it's self-serving on my part.
Yes.
Okay. But is it self-serving on the DUI driver? Yes or no?
If you arrest the DUI driver?
Yeah.
Probably not.
Okay, so that sounds a little contradictory.
Not at all. You're making my point.
Because I'm making your point, but you're contradicting what you're saying because you're saying things at a 30,000-foot level where
What's
you're
the
saying
difference? Still law enforcement.
there's a big difference.
You still take an oath to do the same thing, right?
I understand
to
that.
uphold the law.
What I'm trying to tell you is that it's not self-serving on either level. You keep talking about levels. Is there corruption? Yes. Is there self-serving people who want to promote? Yes.
That's all I'm
But
saying.
for you, Just say, no, well, that's not what you're saying.
Yes,
What-
it is.
No, it's not.
What am I saying?
Where's the BS?
What's he
part?
saying?
Tell me what
Because
I'm,
what
no,
you're-
no, wait.
I'm gonna tell you.
Tell
what
me
you're
exactly what I'm saying.
doing. What you're saying, you're being a little contradictory. You're saying, hey, you know what? At the federal level, if it's John Gotti or something so big, then you know what? You're doing it for self-serving reasons.
Yeah.
But for the DUI guy, I'm not. I'm here to tell you whether you're doing it for self-serving reasons or not. It doesn't matter. And by the way, if I'm chasing John Gotti, FBI, and we know we got him. We got all the PC. We got everything that we've been working for 5 years.
Right.
And I'm running a red light. Guess what? I broke the law. Me as an FBI agent, local, state, whatever.
So then a cop following you while you as a police officer is going after somebody that broke the law.
Yes.
And you go through the red light to catch him.
Yes.
A cop behind you can pull you over and give you a ticket.
No.
Well, wait a
yes.
minute.
Yes.
So they
yes,
can.
they can. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a
I know that.
feisty,
The other-
bald-headed man.
You weren't breaking the
Hold
law.
on a second. Words have meanings.
Which is it?
We're saying
Which
that.
is it?
Hold on. Let
Was
me
he
finish.
wrong?
Let me finish.
Was your partner there or whatever? It's not your partner. But
I'm not saying that
your
my partner's
contempt- was he
wrong.
Well, he said that it's not illegal for a police officer to go run a red light to catch a perpetrator.
That's what I'm saying. I can break. Hold on a second.
Is it legal or illegal?
Well, it's.
Is
illegal.
it legal or illegal?
You can't run a red.
You can't.
You cannot.
Even when you're pursuing a perpetrator that just committed a crime.
Correct. It's no. What I'm saying is
Well,
that
then he
when
was
you-
wrong.
Hold on a second.
Go talk to
I'm
him.
not
He was
talking
wrong.
about him.
Go ahead.
Just listen to my point. Okay.
But who's wrong and who's right? Is he
About
wrong?
what?
He said it was okay to. You're not breaking the law when you run a red light. That's what he said. Is he wrong or right?
He is right because.
Okay.
I'm so lost. I'm trying to grasp it. It's too much going on. Oh, what the hell are they talking about? They talking about red lights. Damn.
Hold on a second. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
There are rules.
His
that
veneers.
we're immune by. I totally agree with that.
All right,
We
so
can-
that's illegal for you to
No.
chasing God's.
but I broke the law.
But
The
he said
law.
it was legal. You're allowed to break the law, so then it's not breaking the law.
So then I go to court, and then I'm working undercover, and I run a red, and then all of a sudden, the black and white pulls me over and says, "Hey, you ran a red. You were going after John
Well, you
Gotti."
were
Okay,
undercover.
got
They
it.
didn't know who you were. Come on.
Okay, well, that's
When you
my
go to
point.
court and you say I was a cop and I was
Okay.
pursuing a perpetrator, they're gonna say get out.
Let's keep in perspective. You're right. I'm in a black and white, and I'm running the red. Okay, and you're saying, yeah. Hey, you know what?
He said
I
that.
can do that. I agree.
No,
with
he
you.
said that. I didn't say it.
Everybody here can agree with me. That's not the point. I broke the law by running the red.
All right,
Okay.
can we get him over here because he's mistaken.
No, he's not mistaken.
Well, one of you are.
I'm immune from the rules of the road when
Well,
I'm
then
in
you're not
pursuit.
breaking the law.
Totally disagree. You're missing my point.
Well, what is your point?
What's his point? Hold, let me
Broke the
listen.
law.
Well, not according to him. You just said you're immune.
We're going back and forth.
You
It
just
doesn't
said
make
you're
any sense.
immune from breaking the
Look,
law.
whether-
Immunity means you
okay,
didn't break the law.
that's
When
beside-
you
Right.
go to court
Let's
and
go
they give
with
you
this last
no. You go to court and they give you immunity for anything that you might have committed.
Correct.
Okay, so you're okay then.
You're okay because you had the pass to do it. I'm with the mob boss.
It's like
from
when I go
breaking
to
the
court
law.
like 2 months later, but
No,
I'm
no,
saying I'm
You broke it, but technically you didn't break it because you had immunity to break it. That's like if I rob a store, it's illegal. But if the government say, hey, you can rob this store with this one time, it's not illegal. Cause I was immune. I'm with the mob boss. I'm with Michael.
broke the law right when it happened.
Not according to him.
Okay, got that.
Thank you.
I'm with
The
Michael.
final surrounded claim is that paid informants are
Who y'all feel like won that? When I'm giving it to the mob boss, he 2-0 right now. It's been 3 of them, so nope. He's 2.5 to 0.0. 2.5 to 0.0.
fairly reliable.
0.5. Same thing. Point. Shut up, Xavier. What do you say?
Informants are rarely reliable.
Come on, get my guy. Thank you.
How are you?
How many times did you actually discover that informants were working against you?
It's my
How
guy
do you
right here.
actually think that informants work from my side of the table?
I've been to trial 5 times. I've been through 3 separate trials with my dad. I've never seen a paid informant get on the stand, put his left hand on the Bible, swear to tell the truth, and then lie through his teeth. Every single time.
Every single time?
Every single time.
Who worked the investigations against you, FBI?
FBI, local police, Suffolk County, Nassau County, Florida.
So
Same thing.
when you worked at federal level, there was no cooperative information or evidence that was ever submitted with that informant?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, you said every, that means all the time and
All the
every
time,
time.
that's correct.
Unless it wasn't every time.
No, it was every time. And I've never seen them, listen, you can mix the truth with a lie, but I've never seen them get on the stand, left hand on the Bible, right hand swear to tell the truth, and lie.
So we're commingling lies with truth.
Sure.
So it's not straight out lies. You're saying that they misrepresented or they flat out lied.
I'm saying they lied.
So did you ever have yourself on a recording, for example, with an informant?
Oh, yeah,
And
83 times.
That
83?
memorialization of that recording, was that truthful or was that a lie?
Well, they couldn't use the 83 times that they had me on tape. They couldn't use it to indict me.
Was that one case?
That was one case.
What
yes.
about the other 4 cases?
Never on tape.
Never had a wiretap?
Had wiretaps, but never able to use anything against me.
For indictment or during trial?
For indictment. They were never able to use those wires to implicate me in a crime.
Did you understand now, looking back on it, the federal rules for using informants with an FBI agent?
The federal rule?
The federal rules for
Explain it to me.
I like this guy.
So
I knew.
everything we do with
I like this guy. I scout talent. I seen his reactions in the back. He looked like he knew a lot. He's such a nice, calm, soft-spoken, smart dude, man. I'm gonna name him Billy. He looks like a Billy. I like Billy, man.
an informant has to be corroborated in some fashion. We're not just going to throw evidence based upon pure and simple testimony of an informant. If that's happening, then you're dealing with an amateur.
Let me tell you.
Looks like he means business.
You're dealing with guys on the street who will do, many of them will do anything for money. And what you mean to tell me is that when you're paying this informant, you're not giving him incentive to lie? Let me tell you, no, let me back this up. I was indicted for a huge fraud case in the gasoline business. My partner, okay, was with me. We created this scheme to defraud the government. He was a paid informant. They paid him $2.5 million of stolen gas tax money to be a witness against me.
Who did that case?
Feds,
Wow.
FBI.
FBI did the case.
Yes.
So that $2.5 million was paid how? Was it through seizure?
They didn't seize any money as far as, they didn't seize any money from me.
Okay.
They paid him $2.5 million.
And you were
of
not
money
convicted
was
on that
stolen.
case?
I took a plea.
Yeah, why'd you take a plea?
Long story, because I took a plea because I knew that my former life was falling apart. The RICO Act was devastating to many people. I had just beaten a RICO case brought on by Rudy Giuliani.
Right.
And I knew that the life was in trouble. I had a 14-agency task force assigned to bring me down. And I knew that I wasn't long for that life because I had such a target. I was arrested 18 times and had 7 indictments.
After all these
Wow.
cases, let me ask you, Michael, were you guilty of crimes?
Yeah,
Were
I
you
was guilty of crimes, yeah. So what does that have to do with it?
It has a lot
Was
to
I
do with
guilty
that.
of the crime, excuse me, was I guilty of the crime that they indicted me on? The one time that I took a plea, yes. The other 5 times, no. All right, we're going into a different area here, but let's talk about the paid informants. In my experience,
I feel like this guy's too good at his job. I feel like this guy's too good at his job. I feel like he's trying to lock Michael up. I knew it was something about that guy. I knew it was something about that guy. I feel like he's trying to get him locked up again. Because look, he had to retract his statement, like, made me think like, oh, I was guilty for that. Not for all the other ones, though. This guy's too good. I think his level. I think his levels to this rank match. Nah, this guy's too good. I knew I could scope talent, bruh.
paid informants. And
Damn.
This even pertains to my brother. I saw my brother get on a stand and testify against my father. My
Wow.
brother was a paid informant. And as I sat there and watched him, I know he lied. If my own brother will lie against his father, okay, which is a very extreme situation, I am telling you, okay, I know guys on the street. That's where I grew up. I know guys. You give them money, you give them incentive. And listen, it's a bad system. It's a bad system. I'm not saying you don't use informants. I understand you have to use informants. But to pay informants, I can give you so many cases where guys are doing time because of paid informants because these guys get up there and lie. They have incentive to lie.
At your trial,
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Why y'all vote on my guy, man?
In my experience, paid informants are reliable.
Ish.
And I say that in a sense of everything we do in law enforcement, we have to check and verify. So when an informant comes to us, we're not going and knocking down Francis's door and taking him away, right? There's a structure and things we have to follow in order to ensure that the information not only is that's presented is accurate, but we also take into account why is he coming forward with this information. And you have to understand, we don't get to pick witnesses, right? You guys provide those for us. You know, an honest man is not going to come and say, hey, I'm a part of this family and we're doing wrong and I want to come forth. We're dealing with people who either have been shunned or voted out of the family or however that works, or they feel like they deserve the promotion, didn't get it. So we understand the intention that's coming in. However, the information they're providing, we have to take into account.
Act upon it, yeah.
A lot of times that information checks out and some things don't. And when they don't, we have a system in place, i.e. courts and laws and policies and regulations that kind of weeds that stuff out, right? If I take incomplete and lazy case to court, it may get thrown out.
Right.
That not only puts a stain on me, that puts a stain on my department and everybody in this room who's taken an oath to protect and to serve.
Do you deal with organized crime?
Not where I'm at now. Paid informants I've dealt with on the street level to get local neighborhood guys and people who've come from across states. That's where my limit lies. But that being said, in my experience, it's worked out.
All right, well, let me tell you this. You know, you just laid out the way it's supposed to be. You go back to New York and you deal with the feds and organized crime, you're in a whole different world.
Right.
Okay? These paid informants don't come to you. Normally they get in trouble and they get put in a room and they said, you're facing life in prison on a racketeering act, or you want to sit down and talk with us, we'll give you money, we'll put you in the witness protection program, help us out. So
Have you seen that in movies?
I'll tell you very simple. The fear of retaliation from our own people, from the boss, you screw up, you're going to get killed, you're going to get in trouble. Well, that fear was transferred to the government when the RICO Act came out, because now guys are going away for life.
Right.
They're getting whatever asset, if they had any assets, taken away. So now you stick them in a room and you say, hey, you're going to cooperate with us, you're going to wire yourself up, you're going to do what you got to do, we'll pay you money, because you don't have to worry about the guy you're talking about, we're putting him away for life. When you put that incentive in front of a paid informant, trust me, they're going to go along with you and they'll get on the stand and they'll lie and they'll do whatever they have to do. And I will say this.
I believe that.
I can tell you straight out that the government knows that many of these informants are lying and they don't care. As long as they win their case, they don't care. Now, I'm not saying that's you.
No, I'll have to disagree.
This is my experience.
I'll have to, and I can't negate your experience, but
you can disagree, but I'm telling you, I've been through it.
The bad apple doesn't define a bad orchard, okay?
I believe, okay.
How are these informants getting in the rooms? Again, we don't get to just, but we're not making people get in trouble. These informants are putting themselves in positions.
Absolutely.
And we're just providing, the avenue to be able to now be a part of that situation, right? Because the best way to get, and you can understand this, the best way to get into that life is we need someone on the inside to bring us in.
I understand that.
Okay, yeah.
The point is paying these guys, giving them incentive to lie. And it absolutely is. There's no question about it.
It can, but
100%.
Given that checks and balances that the government has, the laws, if they are being paid to lie, our case gets thrown out if that's simply what's coming on.
It doesn't happen.
Absolutely. You said it yourself.
No.
It happened in your case. They got paid, they lied, and someone probably didn't present it to the best of their...
You want me to tell you about the other 100 guys that are doing time because of that? In my particular case, they were weak cases. I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, but you want me to tell you about the hundreds of other guys that are in jail because of lying paid informants?
So there was no
reason
merit.
to make this up.
There was no merit.
I didn't say there was no merit. I said they're lying paid informants. Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
If these are great witnesses and they're there to tell the truth and just really, why do you have to pay them at all?
I'm not saying they're great witnesses.
I'm saying, why do you have to pay them at all? Why should they get paid if they're telling the truth and helping law enforcement?
Because you guys operate with money. You weaponize it. We use the same tactic because that's how people respond sometimes.
He spanked him right there.
Get paid. I've used witnesses.
Low-key spanked him right there. He low-key just said we pull a y'all on them. He said we pull a you on you. Y'all think they pulling a you on yous? Damn. He had him quiet right there. I ain't gonna lie.
Then that's good. They don't have that incentive, at least from being paid. But let me tell you something. In the mob life, We're not paying these guys. They're making their own money. And nobody hands anybody anything in their life. You got to be your own person.
But
and make your own
money rules a life, right? Or you wouldn't be doing it. The incentive is money. You weaponize money, not you, but it's weaponized, and it's an incentive for them, right? Why do that? Because they're getting something in return. There's something that's been an opportunity provided to them.
But why do you have to pay them at all?
We don't have to. That's not
But
the case for
then
everything.
Why do you?
I can't speak on why they were paid in your case.
I know, but I can. They were paid because they were given incentive to become witnesses. They pay them, and that incentive makes them lie. Trust me on that.
But let's look at the bigger picture, right? Informants have gone a long way to help us with organized crime.
I agree with informants.
It's the paid informants.
My question is, why do you have to pay them? Tell them they can understand, I want to clear my conscience, I want to do the right thing. Yeah, right, you're getting paid. You're not only getting paid, but you're going to do less time. You're going to cooperate with us. We'll put your family in a witness protection program. We'll give you money. Anything that you want, don't worry about it. And you tell me that's not incentive to lie?
Right.
These guys are facing big time?
Yeah, when they're facing big time, they go lie to get themselves from under the bus and then throw the other people under the bus. I see what he's saying. My boss be cooking. Black guy with the Thames on, boy. He from New York City. New York City.
We're good.
Right. From New York, right?
Yeah.
So we both know. Okay. I dealt with paid informants before throughout my career. My thing is this: both you and I know. It's like Darwinism. It's survival of the fittest. Who can survive in that world, right? Both you and I know a CI is a CI is a CI is a CI. First thing I did when I dealt with a CI was hand them a gift, okay? To let them know that my life's on the line, your life's on the line. We're both built into this together. But you already said it. You know. I don't think it's the paid part that's the issue. The issue, I think, what you're getting at is the system. The system itself and how the system operates. Paid informants, yeah, you know what? It all comes down to a person's personal freedom.
He's listening to that black brother.
We're in the same family and we're dealing with the same issues. You're no better than I am. I'm no better than you are. You know what? I want my freedom. I want to be able to enjoy my life. If I'm going to get paid in my freedom and I'm going to tell the truth, what's wrong with that incentive?
If you're going to tell the truth. But it's the money that gives them incentive to lie also. Look, there's two things that they want. They want money and they want their freedom. I've seen so many guys can understand, I changed my life and I'm okay, and the mob was bad to me and all of this. Listen, we get in there, we take an oath. We take an oath. We know exactly
that's
what
the life you chose.
We know exactly what the penalties are. Look, I walked away from that life. I had a contract on my life. They wanted to kill me. But I understood. I violated my oath by walking away and talking about it. I can't get mad at them. I did what I said I wasn't going to do. I violated my oath. So I understand that. But some of these witnesses get on and say, I'm a good person now, and they treated me wrong, and they didn't do this. And they're going to get up and they're going to lie, and they're going to do whatever the heck they have to do to save themselves. And they're going to keep it going as long as they could. They don't become choir boys when they become witnesses. They're the same guys that were on the street, lying and stealing and doing all of that. Now they're supposed to be good guys? Nonsense. There are a lot of good people in government, but there are a lot of people that will stretch the truth to get what the heck they want, and they'll use witnesses and they'll pay them and they'll do whatever they need to do.
To get the guy, yeah, facts.
My father did 50 years on a crime he didn't commit. I'll take it to my grave. Every one of the informants lied. We gave them lie detector tests afterwards. Okay, proved they lied at the trial. They were paid informants. They were all a bunch of junkies. We can never get the conviction overturned. My dad did 40 on that 50 for a crime he didn't commit. Was he a mob guy? Yeah. Did he do other things? Yeah. But get him for what he did. Get the guy for what he did.
Pause. We're out of time on this claim. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Hey, who y'all feel like won out the battle, man? I feel bad for his dad, though. But, like, how do y'all feel about... never mind. I'm not even going to speak on that situation because I don't got nothing to do with it. Okay, it says Michael will now choose a cop to debate with for 10 minutes on a claim of their choosing. Okay. Pick my guy in the back, man. Pick my guy in the back. The girl?
I chose Heather for the final debate because I think she held her own in the discussion that we had. You didn't win, but you held your own.
I mean, that's debatable, right?
Yes.
Just like everything today. My surrounding claim is that the mafia culture glorifies or promotes men to be successful only through fear and intimidation.
Okay. So what you're saying is that men that were involved in the mafia.
I'm excited for this one.
They really don't know anything but fear, and that's how they earn money. That's how they become successful within that life. If you take the element of fear away, we're all a bunch of dummies.
That's absolutely not what I said.
Okay.
What I said is that your power is legitimized through intimidation and fear.
Okay.
If you took those away, you wouldn't actually have the so-called respect that you think that you have, right?
Dang.
Earlier you were talking about promotions and all these things. The mafia does the same thing. I mean, how do you think John Gotti got promoted, right? He killed Castellano, right? So it's all about the actions that you're taking to get there. It's through fear and intimidation. I'm not saying that you're not smart. No part of my statement said that any of you were dumb at all. I just think and I'm probably gonna have to hear about this if someone takes this the wrong way. Hitler, right? The way he led was fear, intimidation, pulling people in, and then they didn't know if they were coming in to meet him, whether or not they were going to get killed, or whether or not they were going to get like a pat on the back. So what I'm saying is that it's not about servant leadership when it comes to the mafia. It's not about the leadership components that we as law enforcement should be pushing for right now, which is that human aspect, the humility behind leadership. It's about fear and intimidation when it comes to the mafia.
Don't you think that fear plays an element in almost any walk of life? If you're in government and you make a mistake,
I think so.
You can lose your job.
Right.
If you're in corporate America, you make a mistake, the fear is you can lose your job.
Right.
And when you get to the mob, well, it's a little bit more serious because the consequences are more severe.
Right.
Because there is this big aura about the mafia that you don't do the right thing, you're going to get killed.
Right.
Okay. Is that always so? Of course not. It's not the case at all. There are plenty of people in that life that never had to resort to fear or an intimidation to get their way. Never. So even though it's an element of that life, I think it's very wrong to say that if it wasn't for the element of fear, there wouldn't be success in that life.
Right.
But as far as that's concerned, if you didn't have the fear and you didn't have that intimidation, how do you keep your power within the mafia?
Well, when you say keep your power within that life?
I mean, you guys run a hierarchy just like we do.
Yeah. Well, it's very simple because we all take an oath and we hold each other to a high standard. And that oath is that we realize that there are certain consequences we can pay if we violate the oath.
Right.
And so the fear is a little bit more intense in that life because we agree to it. But it's not always fear that makes people rise in the ranks. There's a guy by the name of Roy DeMeo. Okay, he was a serial killer. Roy DeMeo would have been a serial killer whether he was in the mafia or not. Mafia just gave him easier access, let's say.
To do it, yeah.
And there was a certain amount of fear about that guy because he was a madman. But that didn't help him rise in the ranks. He ended up getting killed as a result of that. You know, so sometimes when people fear you, it could work against you. In his case, it did. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, I stayed in line because I realized if I made a mistake, I could pay for it in a severe way. So it does keep us in line in a certain way. Like I say, the consequences are more severe. But fear is an element of almost every organization or every life.
I can see that, yeah.
Fear is an internal element, but it can also be an external element as far as leadership is concerned. And when it comes to the hierarchy and keeping that and making sure there aren't corroborating witnesses or confidential informants that come through or people that turn around and they take a plea deal and then they have a contract put in their head, that's that fear component that we don't utilize in law enforcement. Shouldn't use in law enforcement. Let me say that. Shouldn't use in law enforcement.
Right.
So for you, that
I like
fear
her.
component was very real. That intimidation of you leaving the life was
Good way of
there,
words.
was it not?
But I left.
You did. And for how long were you in fear of your life?
Well, let's put it this way. I knew that there could be consequences that I could face, but I also knew the life very well. So I knew what I had to do to protect myself. So I didn't live in fear. I honestly didn't. I didn't sell my former associates short. I knew what they were capable of.
Right.
But I also felt that I can, do my best to avoid that. But I think what you're saying is that's one of the main reasons why we succeed in that life, because of fear. And I disagree with that.
Why do you disagree with it, though?
Because it's not true.
But you just said it was. You just said that there was fear. Just because you didn't have fear, fear and intimidation was used in order to keep you in line. Because if you walked in a room, you might not walk out.
If you did something wrong.
But that,
If
I
you
mean,
violated the oath, yes. But in order to succeed in that life, and you're not violating the oath, it wasn't fear that allowed me to succeed in that life. It was having an understanding of the life, knowing how to use that life to benefit me in business, and where I had my success. So fear didn't cause me to be a good mob guy.
but do you think the head boss used fear and intimidation more than anything else?
He didn't use it against me, I just knew that it was there.
I didn't mean just against you. I meant the mafia culture as a whole.
Yes, it's an element of fear in that life, like there is in other lives,
And
except that the consequences are more severe.
Just more severe,
But
yeah.
What I'm saying is, fear doesn't cause you to be a success in that life. It's, to me, it's understanding the life and knowing how to use it to benefit you in whatever it is you're trying to do.
Right.
But I will tell you this, you know, when I walked into a room sometimes to negotiate with somebody, well, that aura was there. I didn't have to say anything. They knew who I was, they knew what I represented, so maybe the fear was from the other side. You know, I better watch what I say here. Stuff like that, yeah.
So there's a bit of an intimidation factor when you walked into the room
In
because of
certain
your
cases,
reputation,
yes.
the way you held yourself. So fear and intimidation are the basis of some of the leadership and the culture that is within the mafia.
I feel like that's
It's not
that's
the
everywhere though.
primary driving force, but yes, it is an element, and some people do use that, yes.
That's my claim. Sounds like you agree with me.
Well, I agree in part.
I'll take that.
I agree
I'll
in
take
part.
that.
I
Yeah.
agree in
I mean,
part.
listen, intimidation is something.
seemed like a
you
good
said
guy.
it's Fear, right? You can be intimidating, but or you can intimidate others. It doesn't mean you're intimidating. It's that aura that you walk into the room with.
Listen,
Right.
the smart bosses in that life, they knew that violence and fear was destructive.
Right.
You know, let me tell you something. I had a discussion with Chaz Palminteri. He wrote the movie Bronx Tale. He's a good friend of mine. And
Shout
in the
down.
movie Bronx Tale, he's asked the question by Little Cologio, is it better to be feared or loved? And he said, it's better to be feared in my position. And I had that discussion with Chaz afterwards. I said, Chaz, you're not a member of the mob, but you're around guys. What do you think? He said, oh, Michael, it's better to be feared. I said, you're wrong. He says, why? I said, I'll tell you why. He said, when the government came out with the Racketeering Act, and people knew that they can go away forever, lose all their assets and everything else, well, the fear of the mob, okay, was transferred to the fear of the government.
Right.
Because the government now held all the power. And so many guys became informants. Many guys became informants because of that. So fear is not a great element. It's
I don't
really
think,
not.
yeah.
It's more destructive than anything else. It can hold you in line for a part unless it gets transferred somewhere else. But love, you're not going to hurt somebody you love.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people hurt people that they love.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean. Come on, not to a level where you, all right. I surrender on that one. I surrender. You
I will
got me on
take
that
it.
one.
I will
I
take it.
surrender. Yeah. I mean, okay. But you know what I mean. Not to a level where you're gonna want to destroy them. I think. Anyway, I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that our jobs, I'll put it that way, our lifestyles mimic each other so much.
Oh, absolutely.
Just on different perspectives, right? When we walk into
Just
a
on
room,
different sides of the
we have a
fence.
level of fear and we go anyway. The same
You know
as
what? I should have said that. You're absolutely right. Who doesn't get scared when they see a police officer most of the time? So look at the element
Right.
of fear that you use.
But is that something that we use on purpose, or is that
It's the aura. It's there. It's
Let's just bring the facts. The police they're basically the mob. I feel like they be saying that the police basically another gang. They might be.
Police. You can arrest me. You can lock me up. You can hurt me. You can shoot me.
it's
So
the
that
culture
element of
that's
fear
been
is there.
created?
Huh?
It's that culture that's been created. You talked about the glory years or the golden years of the mafia and being on every single newspaper headline. Well, who do you think's there now? It's
I know.
us.
It's a shame. I don't agree with that. I disagree with that. But you know what? People should have a certain level of fear of law enforcement. That's what keeps them in line.
Right.
It keeps the criminals in line. In our life, to a degree,
I feel like fear has to be in place
The
with a lot of
difference
things.
in my opinion, right, is I believe that I was very lucky in where I grew up. I didn't have a fear of police. They were there as the heroes. they were the ones that came to save the day. When I walk into a room and somebody goes, oh, you better behave or I'm going to have that police officer take you away, like, that's not something I'm instilling in someone. That's the parent instilling that fear in their child about who we are. And I think the same has been said about your reputation and who the Mafia is, right? After sitting here and hearing you all day, like, I feel like you and I could be best friends, because, right? But I'm not scared of you. I'm not, there isn't a fear element on my end when it comes to you. But I do believe that the leadership style within the culture of the Mafia is something based on fear and intimidation. I don't believe those are the only elements, but I do believe historically that's where it came from.
There's an element of fear in almost every walk of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's accentuated in the mob life.
I feel like having fear of something keeps you in line, definitely. Because if you don't fear it, then like you don't care about consequences and stuff.
There's a lot of guys in that life.
Especially when it comes to God.
If they had chose to go in the legitimate world, that would have been brilliant.
Fear God, but love God.
And very successful. Trust me. You know, no other organization has thrived like we had during that. And I'm not bragging, I'm not glorifying, I'm just telling the truth. You know, under some very serious conditions. And the ones that succeeded, they did it because of their brains and their determination. Hey, thank you. It's a great question, by the way.
Good debates, man. Good debates, man. Shout out Michael.
You know, normally if I'm surrounded by 20 law enforcement agents, I'm under arrest. So it was nice to be able to sit and debate with them. You know, it was a good experience.
I think Michael got a lot of things wrong. I think that he didn't really understand that at every level of law enforcement, I don't care what agency you work for, there are standards.
Yeah. Tell it to the judge. Hey, man, like, comment, subscribe, man. Shout out Michael. I'm actually about to go do some more research on, bro. I like him. He seems like a cool guy. Is he Italian? I think a lot of dudes in the mob be Italian. Damn, what you doing here? Damn, what you? All right, my bad. All right, like, comment, subscribe.